Fear is one of the most potent tools you can have in your arsenal as a DM, and it's even more dangerous if you know how to use it well. Hi there and welcome back to Build a Better World. Today we're going to be discussing exploiting fear. Learning things that your player characters may be scared of and using it to weave into encounters, or even certain atmospheres, means that your players will end up more on edge, making them think more in depth about the actions that they're going to do, which on a whole is going to improve the narrative for everyone in your group. By exploiting fear, you're able to create moments of suspense, but also it amplifies that feeling of triumph and accomplishment you get when you've overcome these scenarios. For example, a player character who's scared of spiders will be a lot more conscious of what they're doing in a web-infested cave found beneath a town. As a dungeon master, making the spotlight equal is a challenge within itself that only grows exponentially the more players you have. Hi there and welcome back to Build a Better World. Today's topic comes from TQ Loudly on Twitter. Making spotlight equal. Finding a healthy balance for this is super important, otherwise players may end up feeling excluded and left out of certain situations, and they might feel like their characters aren't developing. Balancing the spotlight allows players to actually develop their character's story and narratives, and even forge meaningful personal interactions with the NPCs within your world. D&D at its core is a collaborative story that you and your table are writing. However, there's no tried and tested method to perfect making spotlight equal, at least not one that I'm aware of, but it is something that you as a DM should actively be trying to improve upon and incorporate more into your storytelling. It's a very novel, movie-esque things for your players to experience, and it's something that may be a first for players both new and old. Hi there and welcome back to Build a Better World. Today we'll be discussing disasters. Disasters add memorable experiences and a true sense of heroism that exclusively having combat encounters simply doesn't hit the target on sometimes. By adding both natural and man-made disasters to your worlds, you can add a terrifying sense of uncertainty to the environment. This adds a sense of urgency and tension to the situations that you create, but also forces players to think creatively and adapt on the fly, from trying to escape a city that may be collapsing around you because of a rogue earthquake or a tsunami, to trying to escape a raging inferno started by a villain of some kind. This can really help push players in the right direction of something without railroading them. Hi there and welcome back to Build a Better World. Today we'll be discussing propaganda. Propaganda is a brilliant thing to throw into your games, forcing your players into complex social and political situations that will help change their perspective of maybe even some of their most trusted NPCs. It adds an additional level of moral uncertainty within the information that they'll gather, potentially leading them to delve deeper into certain situations. Sometimes a little gaslighting as a treat can help your immersion, but ultimately forcing players to decide if what they're being told is the truth or not keeps them on their toes and will hopefully make them make smarter choices. Watch as their immersion deepens as they piece together the very building blocks of how your society operates. Hi there and welcome back to Build a Better World. Today we'll be discussing world building and government through players. So within your campaign, you're going to want to introduce and reveal stuff as naturally to your players as possible to help them feel more invested and involved. Choosing to include certain aspects of world building and potential government procedures adds a sense of agency and rewards your players for being curious. By being an entirely player-driven experience, it's completely up to them to move on when they would like to, allowing them to drop it and pick it back up at any point they wish, applying sort of a discovery freedom. World building as a whole is about the existence of different places, and naturally that would mean that local beauty standards change from place to place. Hi there and welcome back to Build a Better World. Today we'll be discussing localized beauty standards, varying wildly on physique, hair color, clothing style, and even more. You can use this to play into your PC's interests. Maybe you have a Goliath barbarian, you're in a winter environment. They may find him attractive because he's big and strong and able to fend for himself, so they may be more inclined to give up information a little easier to him. This may also help you spot people in a crowd from a town you've previously been to and maybe are looking for, which if you're using a particularly large world can be very, very useful. Creativity is key here, and you can do some really fun things with this, both from a lore perspective and a player character just general experience of the world perspective. Hi there and welcome back to Build a Better World. Today we'll be discussing coming of age. Something that's important to consider within your world is coming of age, as strange as it sounds. If you have different races, then this can happen at different times and even last for different amounts of times. Are there traditions tied to it, either local political or racial? What impacts would this have on a town? Is it a big celebration that potentially your party can get involved in? Or is it a closed event? Maybe coming of age is undertaking a task and going on an adventure to solve said task, and that's the reason one of your party members or an NPC that you all know is traveling. Dominant culture norms, values, etc. can directly influence the form and function of what magic may be researched within an area. Hi there and welcome back to Build a Better World. Today we'll be discussing society's influence on religion and magic. When world building, it's important to take into account the delicate balance of how societies and their beliefs in religion and magic can enhance the story you and your players are creating. Additionally, if an area has access to more coinage than say another place, would this allow residents to have access to better institutions to teach them these things, making for stronger mages, etc. Religion and society can reflect cultural exchanges or possible conflicts as well, adding a deeper and richer overall story for your players to discover. Deciding these things can influence how your players deal with NPCs and other situations, thinking more in depth about the consequences of their action regardless of what way that goes. Hi there and welcome back to Build a Better World. Today we'll be discussing punishment and sanctuary. Something that's important to decide as a world builder is how you want to tackle punishment and sanctuaries. If someone commits a crime and is caught, how are they dealt with? Is it based on the crime severity, or is it one rule for all? Is there even punishment? On the other side, if someone is seeking sanctuary for one reason or another, be it war, famine, or anything else, how is it dealt with? Are the NPCs in your world helpful towards one another? Is there institutions in place to help those people? If so, what and how? Is it frowned upon for helping people in need or those weaker than yourself? This website is a super simple lifesaver for DMs who want to create some quick and easy magic items for your players. Hi there and welcome back to Build a Better World. Today we'll be discussing weak magic items for 5e by Len Pelletier. Be it weapons, armor or trinkets, this generator will be able to help, giving you a special enchantment on already existing 5th edition items. Not only that, but being able to generate up to 100 at a time with 2 different enchantments on each one, this generator is perfect for equipping your baddies or bandits, or even just stocking your shops with some unusual gear, making the fights a bit more challenging and posing the idea that the enemies have got these from other adventurers and that you are not the only party with special equipment.